too hard and I'm about to burn out. Fervent in the spirit for the Lord, I can't turn down. Talking too much, bruh, it's time for you to learn now.
So what they hearing, get offended, get up.
How you doing, sis? What's your name?
Alondra.
Alondra, okay. So I heard I'm going to address two things, right? So I'm going to try your spirit first, right? Because the Bible tells me I need to try your spirit, right? To see if you're going to actually be able to learn, right? So we're going to go to Deuteronomy 22 and verse 5. Then, after I explain that, I'm explaining to you why you shouldn't read the book of Enoch and Jasher, right? I'll explain that to you. Because a lot of times we hear those things and we think we need to go find something outside of what's in the book. So I'm going to explain to you why you don't have to go searching for something that's not in this Bible. That makes sense? Okay, let's read this first.
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 22 and verse 5. The woman shall not wear that which pertaineth unto a man, neither shall a man put on a woman's garment.
So what is a woman's garment that a man could wear? Let's start there. What's a woman's garment that a man could wear?
These days they're doing it.
Huh? These days, hey, you gotta speak straight to me. What is something that a woman wears that a man? All right, for example, you go into the bathroom, right? You walk in the bathroom. What's on the doors? What do the characters on the doors have on?
Well, the girl is wearing a dress.
Okay.
Per se, that's
okay.
what the little shape is.
Yep.
And the man, I mean, it just looks like
he looks like like he would have on pants, yeah, right? Hopefully he's not naked, right? Okay, let's read that again. What? So a woman's garment, according to that, is a what? A dress. Read it again.
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 22 and verse 5. The woman shall not wear that which pertaineth unto a man, neither shall a man put on a woman's garment.
So what is a man's garment that women are wearing today? There it goes. You see? You see how simple that is, right? So when we talk about coming back to God, we have to figure out these basic things first, right? For an example, what does pants do differently, like in terms of your behavior, right? You ever fought before?
Ever what?
Have you ever fought before?
Yes.
It's a direct question. Look, you don't got to be afraid. Have you ever fought before? Yes, you have. Were you wearing a dress? Nah, you weren't, right? Your hair was tied up. You put on pants that you knew you could scrap in, right?
I was wearing a school uniform.
Okay, exactly, right? So the point is you were dressed a certain way that allowed you to behave a certain way. As a woman in a dress, right, you can't sit down like this. That's not possible. Your parents taught you how to dress. You had to fold the skirt down, sit down a certain way, carry yourself a certain way. A woman was ladylike in a dress, right? They've never said that about pants. So everything you do, it has spiritual aspects to it. Romans 7:14. Every single thing you do. We may think what we put on means nothing, but people say clothing tells you something about me, right? It shows you who I am, right? It shows you my behavior, my character. So someone will put on a red shirt because they want to be bold, right? So when women put on pants, it's telling you something about their character. It's telling you who they are. Read that, Romans 7:14.
This is the book of Romans, chapter 7 and verse 14. For we know that the law is spiritual, but I am carnal, sold under sin.
So this is Paul writing. He said, we know that I am carnal, right? But he said, for I know the law is spiritual, but I am carnal, sold under sin. So everything that is written in the law had a spiritual benefit to it. You see what I'm saying? So when you put on that dress, it calls you to carry yourself a certain way. It calls you to act a certain way. You've been researching Aztec history, right? I'm sure. When you look up those images, what do the women have on? Correct, right? They have some form of skirt. Let me look and see if it's on here. It's not on this one. Okay. No, there it is. Come close, sis. Come look at this at the bottom. Right here on the bottom, right? Look at what those women are wearing. Right? There was a dress code. Exactly. There was a dress code for the women and there was a dress code for the men. There was a dress code for you to identify the chief, right? When you go back and looking into that history, you'll see the women that were virgins, they dressed a certain way and wore certain things, right? The women that were married, they dressed a certain way and wore certain things. So what you put on identified who you were. Today they tell you to put on pants, and we think it doesn't have anything to do with who we are. It gives you a masculine spirit, right? It gives you a masculine spirit. That's exactly what it is. Read that again. Watch.
This is the book of Romans, chapter 7 and verse 14. For we know that the law is spiritual, but I am carnal, sold under sin.
So our women now, right, we are carnal and they're in sin, right? I have a straight question for you, right? Where is her father?
Her father?
Yeah. You see? It matters, right? Now let's talk about it. Why that matters is because pants got you there and you don't think they did. You see what I'm saying? Because the pants cause you to have a certain shape, right? You probably looked in the mirror and did this. right? You probably did that. You carried yourself, yeah, you went and partied, right? You did a certain thing, right? And it's not just women, men do it as well. But these things cause certain ripple effects or problems in our life. And we can't pinpoint, how did I get with this dude that was no good? How did I find him? You know why? You wore clothing that attracted men that were no good. You see, when a girl has on pants that reveal her figure, a man that's attracted to her is not a man that's trying to marry her. It's not a man that's trying to have a baby, right? But we don't think about those things, right? Read that again.
This is the book of Romans, chapter 7 and verse 14.
Bring it up.
For we know that the law is spiritual, but I am carnal, sold under sin.
Give me Isaiah chapter, give me Hebrews 13 and 4. Let's go there. Look at this. These are simple laws, right? And I'm reading this to you so you can get how practical the Bible is. A lot of time we want to read the book of Enoch and the book of Jasher because it's deep. But the Bible is basic things that have ripple effects and impact on our lives. You see what I'm saying? God is trying to get you to see the simple thing. He's not trying to get you to understand that. Give me 2 Ezra 7 and 21. He wants you to understand simple things. Simple things like stop wearing pants. You know why? Because it stops you from being a baby mama. Simple. You'll attract the right dude. There's nobody going down the street with a woman whose figure is not revealing and saying, let me holler at you. But the woman with her butt showing, that's the one getting hollered at. That's the one getting talked to by dudes that's no good. That's the one people are breaking their neck for. They're not breaking their neck for the girl in the dress who they can't see their figure, right? Read that again. 2 Ezra 7 and 21. Read that.
This is the book of 2 Ezra, chapter 7 and verse 21.
Listen to what God said.
For God hath given straight commandments.
So God gave him straight commandments, direct, to the point. We read that. You said pants, dress, straight, plain. Read it again.
For God hath given straight commandments to such as came, what they should do to live.
What they should do to live. Read that again. What they should do to live.
What they should do to live, even as they came, and what they should observe to avoid punishment.
So God gave you a simple commandment to avoid punishment. You see what I'm saying? Now, a lot of our sisters embrace being single mothers, but that's a punishment. You see what I'm saying? It's a punishment. You're going to love your daughter. She's going to grow up properly because you're looking for the right path. But the point is that's punishment. My mother was a single mother. She just left today. She raised 3 of us on $30,000. That is a struggle. That is a punishment from God.
Bring it out.
You understand that, right? Hebrews 13 and 4. Look at what God said he would do to people who commit adultery. Read that.
This is the book of Hebrews, chapter 13 and verse 4. Marriage is honorable in all, and the bed undefiled. But whoremongers and adulterers, God will judge.
You see, God said whoremongers and adulterers, he will judge. He will judge. Now, a lot of time we look at that judgment, we're trying to figure out, what does that mean? Judgment means single parent household. Judgment means having a baby mama who takes you to court and she wants everything from you. That's judgment. That's judgment. Because we couldn't get married, we get judged.
Right.
That's what happens in our community. And then we talk about, man, my baby mama ain't ish, my baby daddy ain't ish. What happened to get us here? What did we do? When are we going to take accountability as a people and say, I did something to end up in this position?
Bring it out.
Okay, there we go, right? So I'm happy you're taking accountability. And the reason I'm showing you this is because these simple things get you a lot farther than knowing what's in the book of Enoch. What's in the book of Joshua? These are the things that our women, that our men are not thinking about. They're not thinking about how do we get to this place?
Right.
How do we end up on the bottom? Right? Give me, we was in 2 Ezra?
This is the book of Ezekiel, chapter 16 and verse 9. Then washed I thee with water. Yea, I thoroughly washed away thy blood from thee, and I anointed thee with oil.
So this is talking about the cleansing process, right? God is cleansing our spirit. When he brought us out of Egypt, he cleansed us. When it says wash us with water, it's talking about his commandments, right? Read.
Clothe thee also with broidered work.
He clothed the women with broidered work, hand-stitched work, right? Hand-stitched fabrics. Go ahead.
And shod thee with badger skin. And I girded thee about with fine linen. And I covered thee with silk.
So he said he covered us with silk. But we didn't want that. We wanted to go wear pants. We wanted to do everything outside of what God gave us. But God, when he dressed women wore dresses made of silk. Read.
Deck thee also with ornaments And I put bracelets upon thy hands.
So he said, I decked you with ornaments. I put bracelets upon thy hands. So now he's going into jewelry that he gave you. Read.
And a chain on thy neck. And I put a jewel on thy forehead.
He said he put a jewel in the middle of your forehead, right? You might see it in East India. They wear a jewel in the middle of their forehead. That is your custom.
That's right.
That's your custom.
Bring it out.
You got to take the pants and throw those away and get back to this.
Right.
That's your custom. Read.
And earrings in thine ears.
Read.
And a beautiful crown upon thine head.
You know who wears crowns? Princesses.
That's right.
That's who wears a crown. So God gave you a crown upon your head.
Right.
You were royalty, sis. You never seen royalty wear pants. Never. They wear the finest of fabrics, and that's what you are. Read.
Bring it out.
Thus wast thou decked with gold and silver.
Go ahead.
And thy raiment was of fine linen and silk embroidered work. Thou didst eat fine flour and honey and oil.
So he's going into what he fed you now, right? But the point is God gave you the finest attire to wear. And when you come back to God, that's what he's trying to give you again, right? So I went to that to show you the Bible is simple. You don't have to go out here and read this deep book, right? Give me Ecclesiastes 12 and I think I want 13 and 14. Solomon talked about this. Solomon is the wisest man to ever live, right? Listen to what Solomon said. Watch this. Ecclesiastes 12 and 12. You got me? He said something very, very simple, right? What you are supposed to read and what you are supposed to focus on. Ecclesiastes 12, you got me? And 12.
This is the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 12 and verse 12. And further, by these, my son, be admonished of making many books. There is no end.
He said, be admonished, be wise. Don't go and search into every book, because there's no end of books. You can read this book and that book and this book, and it's unprofitable if you don't know what you're looking for. If you don't know who you are in the book, some people read the Bible and they don't understand they are the tribe of Issachar.
Right.
So it's not profitable to them until they understand who they are. So Solomon said, don't search around looking for many books. Read.
And much study is a weariness of the flesh.
Go ahead.
Let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter.
So he's going to tell you the conclusion of the entire matter. What we are supposed to do being on earth. Because in this book, he talks about going off into wickedness, trying to figure out this thing and that thing. So now he's at the end of the book. This is the last chapter, the last 2 verses. He said, let me tell you the conclusion of the whole matter, what I found out from all my studies and my research. Read.
Fear God.
Do what?
Fear God.
Simple, right? Fear God. Read.
And keep his commandments.
Simple. Simple. He didn't say go read the book of Jasher and Enoch. He didn't say that. He said fear God and keep his commandments.
That's right.
That's simple.
Right.
All of that can be found in the Bible. Read.
For this is the whole duty of man.
He said that's the whole duty. That is the reason you are on earth, is to fear God and do his commandments.
What is a nation? Nation is family. Nation is community. Nation is men leading by example. Nation is women's support. Nation is children with role models.